Hey there, everyone. Mrs. Henry here. I'm just going to go over today's lesson for September 1st, 2020. There are a couple of things going on today, so it's really important that you pay attention. So the first thing that you need to do is there is an attached biography about Daniel Keyes, and he is the author of Flowers for Algernon, the short story that we're going to read. So once you click on that, you're going to see this document. And the instructions are, this is the entire text of the biography of Daniel Keyes. In the text box above each paragraph, and this goes in the order of the biography. In the text box above each paragraph, I would like for you to identify the main idea of that paragraph. Then, highlight the specific details from the paragraph that prove the main idea. So here's the first one, for example. Daniel Keyes was an American Jewish author best known for his book Flowers for Algernon. Born August 9th, 1927 in New York, Keyes briefly attended New York University before joining the United States Maritime Service at the age of 17. He worked as the purser, person who handles money on oil tankers. After his time in the Maritime Service, Keyes returned to New York in 1950 and received his Bachelor of Psychology from Brooklyn College. Keyes also received his English education degree from New York University at the same time. So I've highlighted there key elements from the paragraph. Essentially, this first paragraph is about his educational background, his training, and his work experience. So if you take a look at each of the following paragraphs, I think it might even be helpful first if you go ahead and highlight the details from the paragraph. So let's look at number 2. Soon after graduating from college, Keyes began work as an editor of magazine management's pulp magazine, Marvel Science Stories. He began writing for Atlas Comics soon after becoming an editor for magazine management. Atlas Comics were known as the 1950s precursors to Marvel Comics. When the pulp magazine Marvel Science Stories was discontinued in favor of paperback books, Keyes was offered a job as an associate editor of Atlas Comics under editor-in-chief Stan Lee. After being offered his job, Keyes later wrote in his book Algernon, Charlie, and I, A Writer's Journey. So the key elements, the supporting details are these places where he worked. So the first paragraph is about his education, his training. And then if you look at the second paragraph, it talks about the jobs that he had and where, for what publications. So it's his experience with Marvel and the various jobs that he had. So, if you are having those as your supporting details, the relevant details within the paragraph, this would be Keyes' experience with Marvel, which is one of his first jobs, and comics. It's almost like his beginning. His beginning work experience. Okay, so I need you to do that for the remaining paragraphs. That's task 1. And that'll give you background information about the author of the short story we're going to read. The other thing we're going to talk about, because this is what is dealt with heavily in the short story, is about IQ. So there's this YouTube video that is called, Does IQ Really Measure How Smart You Are? Now, it says that the video is 6 minutes. It's really the last minute is talking about this particular psych organization. So you can stop it as soon as he's done talking about IQ. But there's this video that I need you to watch that's attached. And then you will go to the Google Forms, which is a quiz over the video. So you'll click on that link and you'll go to the quiz and you will respond to the questions that are based on that video. Lastly, and this is not something you have to do, but if you're curious, you can take a look at a sample IQ test. Sometimes it's really fun to just dig around a little bit. So this is a link. There's a link in Google Classroom to this website. It looks like this. All you do is you go to free IQ test, and it'll show you the types of questions that get asked. So at the very least, you could see what types of questions are asked. But if you're feeling really brave, you can go ahead and you can take the test yourself. Okay, so that's it. That's the plan for today. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be there for you.